It's now been about 6 or 7 months that I've been out here trying to build a custom furniture and cabinetry business. But I'm having one major issue that's wasting a bunch of time and effort when it comes to building things. I'm having a really hard time finding high quality furniture grade lumber here south of Pittsburgh in southwestern Pennsylvania. And so today I'm hoping to fix that. So here's the idea. So my shop is a room inside of a much larger warehouse. I've got about 2,400 square feet inside these walls. This is the dust collector for my shop. It's a room inside of a probably 20,000 square foot building. The original idea was to stick a couple of racks of lumber out here and just kind of test this idea to see what happens. The tenant that was using this space out here as a distribution warehouse recently decided to part ways and move out of the space. So I pitched the idea of building a lumber yard here in this space right outside of my shop, and that way we would be able to facilitate distributing lumber to the Pittsburgh market. So right now we've got a bit of a blank slate here. It's about a 30 by 30 area here. We can't go anything behind where the camera is because it's the egress for the rest of the building, but we do have a big garage door that people would be able to drive in and load up lumber from inside. And this, whatever that is, 900,000 square foot area, I think is perfect for a starter lumber store. This leaves us with one major issue. We're gonna need some lumber. So let's go back in time here to a couple days ago where I drove down to Clarksburg, West Virginia to see my buddy Mike Holt, and we put together what I'm calling the lumber store starter set. We basically set up a large stack of lumber to be a starting inventory for the store. I'm out at Holt Lumber in Clarksburg, West Virginia today. I needed some walnut for a project, and I'm picking up some material for a buddy of mine. But like I said, it's a 2-hour drive down here for me to get lumber, and Mike's wanting to expand his business. I'll introduce you to him in a minute. But we're trying to figure out a way that maybe we could do something where we sell some lumber in Pittsburgh. So this is sort of a exploration in that we're going to try to pick out what lumber might sell for the Pittsburgh market and figure out what it is we could do. So we're going to be playing with forklifts and digging through lumber today, and I'll show you guys around their shop a little bit here. If you've never been here, this place is awesome. If you're in the West Virginia area, I definitely recommend coming down here. Here, I'll show you around. Back over here is more of their shop area. They've got this thing's called a straight line rip. You can take a rough sawn board and it grips it and pulls it through perfectly straight. This one's actually broken right now, but it's a really useful tool. And then over here, they've got this amazing flattening jig. This is sort of like a big CNC, but it's specifically for flattening material. This is it's basically like a 13-inch, like a lunchbox planer attached to the gantry. So it makes it really easy to flatten things because you're doing these big wide passes instead of like on a CNC. Even a big bit is only like 3 or 4 inches. So that thing just tears through material. They've got, this is another cool industrial thing. It's an upcut saw, I think is what they're called. Basically, there's a giant circular saw blade in the bottom. It clamps the board and then chops it. Also great for not perfectly dimensional lumber. You can break down material quite easily. And then further back in their shop, they've got all the things you'd expect: table saw, a gigantic bandsaw, a big wide belt sander, a time saver, a massive, is it a 12-inch? 16-inch jointer, which, you know, I'm a little jealous of. I've only got 12-inch one. And, you know, all the toys that you could need here, because they do some custom fab stuff as well. They've got this mantle they're working on today here in the shop. Here's this big bandsaw. I want one of these so bad. This thing is amazing. And then, of course, no lumberyard would be complete without a kiln. This is a massive, I think it's 4,000 Is it 4,000 board feet, Andrew?
Yes.
4,000 board foot iDry vacuum kiln. The thing's gigantic. They had to cut a hole in the wall to fit it in here, and it goes like all the way back into the shop, but it is super cool, so they can dry their own lumber. They also source exotic stuff from all over the place. There's more lumber here than you could ever imagine.
This pack right here, I need to get out.
Yeah. Stick that one. A little more. Ooh. Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, now I got to do some teaching here while we're doing this, Joe. Okay, so when Joe and I cut these logs in half, what we're doing is we're going into the heart, and we're taking a little bit of the heart. So any limb that would be in there, you get a severe depression where each limb was, because that's such a compression grain.
Right.
And you'll have that a lot in quarter sawing.
Right.
So, you know, these boards have a mind of their own. So that board right there, you could probably have somebody come in and they'll want a manual out of it, because that's a 10-quarter board. So if you want to take it, that's fine. If not, that's fine too, but it's 10-quarter.
We're still just digging through some stuff here. I need to pick up some red oak now for a buddy of mine. So everything is a process here. You got to move something to get to something else, because that's what happens when you got a lot of lumber. So red oak's down here. There was some cherry on top of it. We're digging through. Got to find a tape measure though. You would think that there'd be more in this place, but I think Mike keeps taking them. This is some live sawn white oak that this is going to be coming up to Pittsburgh, I think, as well as got some walnut and this whole stack. So we're basically getting the like lumber yard starter kit here. We still got to add some 4-quarter walnut, 8-quarter red oak. We're trying to get a good selection of everything to really pad out this store correctly, so that it has a selection, and that it's not, you know, if you come and you want to look around, you don't want to have like 6 boards in the corner. So we're trying to get it set up right. It's a lot of work. It's hot. I'm hungry, but we're making it work. Ready, Mike? Whew. After a really long day of digging around some lumber, driving, I'm now got a 2-hour drive back home. I got a couple hundred board feet of walnut, cherry, and maple in the truck for some upcoming projects I'm working on. And then I don't even know how many board feet, thousands of dollars worth that we've set aside to have shipped up so we can get this lumber business going. I don't see how it can't work, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking, you know, starting up kind of another thing on top of what we're already doing. Now that we're back at the shop. There's a lot to figure out. I have to get this place cleaned up. We got to get lumber racks. I got to get that lumber shipped up here because obviously it didn't all fit in my F-150. I brought back a little bit for some stuff I'm currently working on, but this is going to be a massive order of lumber. I got to build a front desk. I got to learn how cash registers and point of sale systems work and taxes, and there's a whole lot to figure out. But I'm hoping that this won't take more than a month or two to get this thing kind of operational, and then at least to start by appointment only, you and all your friends can come and buy lumber from us. Tune in next time. I'm going to be starting to figure out the layout and the plan and coordinating with Mike to get that lumber up here and set up. I thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed and following along on Instagram to see live updates of how this project goes, and I will catch you on the next one.